I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a consultant, and one of her advocacies is to no fluff talent strategies for L&D pros ready to be seen, hard, and paid attention to. None other than Miss Candice Mitchell.
Thank you, Daniel.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Candice. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you said, I am Candice Mitchell. I am the talent development person for learning and development. So, I like to say that I develop the people who develop people.
Let's develop people that are impactful people. And today, let's talk about we are the impact. Why L&D is not just training, it's a strategy. What are the most dangerous misconception about L&D that still persists in organizations?
Hmm. There are a few. So the first one is the order taker. And if anyone is in learning and development listening to this, we know all too well that this has followed us around like the plague for at least 20 years. Is that, we're there to just wait for people to tell us what to do, what training to develop, and that needs to fundamentally shift. The second danger is that we're seen as a support function. And I want to scream from the rooftops that that is just not true. We are strategic drivers behind organizational success, and we enable every single person in the organization to do their work. So I do not see us as a support function at all. I see us as a business critical driver, and the reason behind business success a lot of the time.
And how do you respond to leaders who view training as a check the box activity?
Oh, um, how do I respond? I usually respond by asking them good questions. So I wonder when they say that, when they say learning and development is just training, I do wonder what they have experienced in the past. So, and I'll just elaborate a little bit on that, is that they probably have only experienced reactive learning and development teams. And I can speak with a little bit of authority here because I've experienced both. I've been in both situations. So I have been in an organization where learning and development was absolutely critical to business success, and we were brought in right from the beginning. There was no, pulling in training after the fact or anything like that. We were from the beginning working with business leaders to drive capability. And I know the success of that business. That business actually made history as the biggest M&A transaction ever at the time that it went through that. And then I've been in organizations where training is just check the box, and they still experience high turnover rates. They still struggle with performance. And so for me, I wonder what that leader has experienced in the past, and how we can correct that, how we can help their team, that CEO, that business leaders team, the learning and development team, step out of that reactive function and into that strategic leadership.
Indeed. And why is it L&D strategic function, not just a support role?
Because we enable the people in the business to perform. And without people performing in the business, you don't have a business. You can't move it forward. You can't grow it. It's not sustainable. It cannot be successful without the people in it doing what they're meant to do. And learning and development, when done right, enables every single person in the organization to do their work. And business leaders need that. They need people in the business that can do their work so that they can be successful and sustainable. So it's really, to me, a no brainer, but I'll get off my soapbox.
And let's talk about the alignment of business impact. How can L&D teams prove their ROI to skeptical executives?
Mm. I say something a little bit controversial here. So I say learning and development, the last thing we should do is training. And what I mean by that is that we need to start with the business. So, I have a 5 step process that I go through with new clients, and really I look at global trends. So, I'll look at global trends of what's happening in the world, right? Things like AI, things like hybrid workplaces becoming the norm, that sort of stuff. Then I look at industry trends. So, whatever industry that business is operating in, are they fast growing? Are they innovative? Are they needing more efficiency? So, older industries will be looking at efficiencies, for example, versus innovation. That's very different capability we're building there already. Then I'll look at what the company already does and has. So, what training have they done? What's been effective? What is working? What's not? What do their people need to enable the business to achieve its goals? So, looking at where the business wants to be in 3 years, and then saying, okay, so these are the capabilities your people need to get there. Let's build those. And then only do we get into training. So that's how I approach programs. Because when you do have skeptical CEOs, you do have skeptical business leaders, that way, then after you do the training, you can do the full circle and come back to them and say, well, this is where you wanted to go, this is where your business was headed, and these are the capabilities that we're building to do that. So 6 months down the line, you actually have a leg to stand on to show them the impact and the value, because you've done it that way around. You're not doing it reactively, but you're starting off before you do anything proactively, and then it's easier to circle back and say we are achieving or we're not achieving whatever we're meant to do.
What's your framework for aligning learning initiatives with real business KPIs?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I have what I call the satellite view, right? So it's just taking yourself up and looking at that, the 100,000 foot view. And those are my steps that I've just spoken through. So those 5 steps is looking at the macro global trends, looking at the industry trends, looking at where the business wants to go, so the business goals, looking at the capability that people need, and then developing the learning solutions for that. So that's my 5 step process when dealing with clients and coming back. And then within that, I have a lot of tools and methodologies that I use. So the one thing is called the impact matrix, where I actually go and I sit with business leaders, so operational business leaders. So let's say packaging managers, engineering managers, sales managers. I'll sit with them and I'll say, what are you driving in the business? And I actually take their KPI or KPIs and I'll work backwards from there. So if, for example, a sales team wants to achieve higher conversion rates, right? They're going in and they're speaking with 10 clients and they're only converting 2, let's say. I will actually take that and say, okay, so what's the capability we need to convert more sales? And then I can go back and say, okay, well, now we're achieving 3 conversions on average. So, the training has been working. And so that's my approach.
How does L&D strategy differ from a startup versus legacy
Mm.
organizations?
Oh, yes, that's an excellent question. And it differs tremendously. And I spent 10 years in a very mature organization. And so our strategy there was really just about aligning with the business, keep going. When certain functions were kind of changing their strategy, we would work with them, closely with them. When I work in a startup or someone that, not even a startup, some companies are 20 years old, but they're only just bringing in learning and development. When I work with those companies, I look at organizational wide capability because you need to start creating that. And I call it like a tidal wave because it's got to build. The capability's got to start. And so I always look at company wide capability. So things like trust, psychological safety, um, management, like the big overarching capabilities that people need. And then we start building that. So I'll look at, across the whole firm from entry level through to the CEO or the C suite, um, to build organization wide capability because you need that emphasis, that tidal wave to start building before you can become more, let's call it granular. And when you're in a more mature organization, you can become more granular or more bespoke for the people.
Miss Candice, let's talk about the skills for the future. What's the number one skill gap L&D should address today to the future-proof workforces?
Mm-hmm. And I've just written an article on this, is that we need to, within this AI world, our human skills are becoming so much more important. And what I mean by that is everyone's going to have access to AI. It's going to be a commodity like Google. And what's going to differentiate you, what's going to give you that competitive edge, that uniqueness, are your human skills. And I've developed a framework for these human skills, which I will be soon creating a academy for, and that is connect. So it's connect the big picture, so that strategic thinking, that sort of stuff, and then connect with people. People are forgetting how to communicate since COVID. They're just not really connecting. There's a loneliness epidemic happening right now. So it's connect the big picture and connect with people. Then it's O, which is optimize, which is continuous learning, growth mindset, using technology to advantage, all of that stuff. The R is resilience. So in today's day and age, change is not a project that has a start and end. It's constant, it's all the time. And so building that resilience is critical. And then the E is empathy. So I have the core skills, and with the E being empathy and, well, emotional intelligence, the broader bucket, and really just understanding yourself, your emotions, regulating that, understanding how to operate in work environment. So those core capabilities is what I believe are the fundamental skills that all humans are going to need going forward.
Miss Candice, what's an underrated competency, or yes, competency that L&D overlooks?
I'm going to go back to the connection, and
Yes.
connecting with people. So that, in my opinion, is something we take for granted. Actually, we think that humans can naturally talk to each other, but that's not the case. I am seeing it over and over and over again, and I kind of make a joke about it, which is not necessarily a joke, but I say, the reason I'm employed right now is because people are forgetting how to communicate. We're forgetting how to have conversations. We're forgetting how to connect with people, how to build relationships over time. And this virtual world is not helping us. And so it's about being more deliberate about communication, effective communication.
Indeed, communication in everything is the key. And let's talk about the technology and innovation. How is AI reshaping what and how we train employees?
It's making it better and worse. So,
Why
um,
is that?
yeah, so it's making it better in terms of we can do our tasks a lot faster. So I created a training program that would have taken me 3 weeks. I created it in 2 days. And so, if we continue to just do that, if we continue to just focus on creating courses or creating training, if that's what we think our role is, we're not going to be around for long. So, it's making it worse because we are going to get replaced 100%. We will get replaced by AI if we just do courses and we just respond to requests. We need to step into a different role. We need to think strategically. AI cannot ask difficult questions. AI cannot yet critically think. They cannot be in the rooms and read the room and the vibe. And so we really need to step into that strategic partner role and away from that reactive order taker, because that is not no longer going to serve us.
No longer serve us for sure. And Miss Candice, as a strategies for L&D, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Ooh, I have so many goals. So my short-term goal is to develop as many learning and development people, reach as many learning and development people as I possibly can to help them step into the strategic role. My long-term goal is, honestly, it's so big. I have so many dreams, and my long-term goal is that learning and development becomes an absolute no brainer, and that CEOs and the C suite cannot imagine running a business without learning and development as a core strategic partner, and that we stop getting laid off and that we actually grow, which is the trend. The World Economic Forum does report that training specialists are growing, and so I think I'm not too far off on my goals and my dreams.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Candice, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people want to be strategies for L&D like you?
Mm. You need to drop the learning mindset and put on the business hat. You have to think business acumen. Where's the business going? You have to think as a business partner and not as a training provider. That's going to be my one piece of advice. You need to drop learning outcomes. You need to really think, how am I enabling this business to succeed through building people capability?
Indeed, and thank you for that advice, Miss Candice. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yes, absolutely. So a book I've spoken about so much is, and I've brought it up here. It is The Heart of Business. Capitalism for the oh no, wait, leadership. Wait, the book title's not here. Give me a second. Oh yes, The Heart of Business. So it's all about leading. I think every CEO has to read this book, and I've read it twice already, and I love it so much because it's all about putting people first. So there's five big ideas, which is the decision making process, communication or common biases, emotional and motivational influences, ethics and fairness, and then consequences and trade-offs. And I just love how he puts it. It's written by Hubert Jolie, who was the CEO of Best Buy and completely turned the business around. And he says there are three priorities. It is people, I'm sorry, purpose, people, and profits. And he says it's in that order. So you need a purpose first, your people come second, and then you speak about profits third. And if you do that, that's where your business will actually thrive. And he put the whole of Best Buy together with this in mind. So he would start every meeting talking about the purpose. Are we achieving the purpose? He would then talk about the people as the next agenda item, and only then would he dig into the profits of the business and how it's growing. So I just love that. And I think every CEO and C suite person should read that book, The Heart of Business.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss Candice. And beyond completion rates, what metrics truly reflect L&D's strategic impact?
Oh, it's way beyond completion. We should just drop that completely. But what we need to focus on is, are we helping the business grow? So, are we driving revenue? Are we improving retention? Are we attracting high performing individuals? Do we attract top talent? That's what we need to be focusing on. It's got nothing to do with completion rates.
Definitely. And what's the story where L&D transform an organization's trajectory?
Um, what's the story behind that?
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm. I would say a success story of where learning and development transformed an organization. I I just have seen that in real life. So I have seen where learning and development play a critical role, how that influences culture, how that influences the way people feel about the business. They just feel that the business is taking care of them. I've worked in that environment. So I just know it's a feeling, it's the whole ecosystem that a good learning and development team impacts. When people came to our courses, it wasn't like, oh, let me come to this course. It was an achievement, it was something to strive for. People would say, oh, we attended this academy. Like, it's amazing. And when your people feel like that, when they feel so emotionally connected to the business, they work harder. And as I said, that business broke the world record in terms of the biggest merger and acquisition in the history of companies, not just in its industry, but worldwide. Um, and it's a testament to the people, how passionate they were. I mean, people would joke with me all the time and say, like, do you have like a, are you all hypnotized when you walk in the doors? You get hypnotized, and it's not. It's just literally putting people first, genuinely putting people first, and what they will do for the business when they are treated like that. It's incredible. So I've lived it, I've breathed it. It's just something that I know so deeply.
Miss Candice, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, law 101 and mental health 101, love letters in third season, and Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Candice, if you could get every CEO to prioritize one L&D shift, what what would it be?
That would be to develop your learning and development team, because they have the ripple effect. So the better skilled they are at their work, the bigger and better their impact on your entire workforce. So I would pull budget from operations and sales, and I've seen this done and it works. And if you develop the learning and development team, that ripple effect and that impact will be the biggest bang for your buck. 100%.
Miss Candice, Miss Candice. Mitchell, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run the Talent Development Academy. It's going to help your team, your learning and development team, move from that reactive order taker into strategic business partners and actually help your bottom line and your business grow. I'm writing a book. That's why I'm on this podcast. I'm writing a book that comes out. So if people follow me and subscribe to my newsletter, they'll be the first to know when that launches.
Yes, please do come over, Miss Candice, and let's talk about it on Book 101 once you publish the book. Yes, people, let's support Miss Candice Mitchell because if you support her, for sure, more and more and more empowering books to come, more and more empowering business to come. So, Miss Candice, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.